Hello there. Welcome to my channel. My name is Sonia. This is Sonia with an I. Today I am bringing you a March Mystery Madness wrap-up and review. I participated in the March Mystery Madness. That was the prompts that were going around on YouTube with the theme of To the Nines. I really appreciate Lizzie Faye Loves Books, Elizabeth, for inviting me to participate in this. It was a lot of fun. I really had a good time searching for, doing the research, and enjoying these wonderful books. So here is what I got finished. There were 9 prompts. I did finish all 9. I did a black one on the board, which I'm thrilled with. I was shooting for a bingo, but I really wanted to black it out, so I did. And mystery is probably my favorite genre, so it was really quite easy to get to accomplish this goal. So here is what I read. The first 9 in a series. I read The Sign of the Twisted Candle by Carolyn Keene, which is part of the Nancy Drew series. This was number 9 in the Nancy Drew series. So our girl Nancy has gotten into this situation with a couple of friends of hers. They have met this older man who is turning 100 years old, and he lives in this attic of this restaurant, and she starts to suspect that he's not treated very well, but he has a lot of money. And because he's turning 100 years old, all of these family members are coming out of the woodwork, and she is trying to figure out why he is treated so poorly in his history. She also ends up befriending a young girl named Carolyn who works at the restaurant, and Carolyn is really good friends with this gentleman, and there's some mystery with that too. So I ended up giving this book 3 stars. It was a fun Nancy Drew read. It's all, a retro read. I always enjoy Nancy Drew. It always makes me giggle because her explanations of her character are always the attractive sleuth or the young sleuth, which I don't know, it just sort of makes me giggle. It's kind of a sign of the times and some of the things that happened in there too. But it's just a fun read. It's kind of like watching Scooby-Doo or something that makes you kind of feel nostalgic is the word I'm looking for. So I enjoyed the book. I gave it 3 stars. The next prompt that I have was the Dress to the Nines, and I chose the book Curds of Prey by Karina Moss. This was a 5-star read for me, as of all of Karina Moss's books have been for me. It's part of the Cheese Shop Mystery. It is the 3rd book in the Cheese Shop Mystery. In Curds of Prey, our girl Willa, who is a cheesemonger, is catering a bridal shower for a soon-to-be bride. This soon-to-be bride is very rich, and she is marrying the mayor's nephew, and Willa is finding out some things about this bride and how she is kind of connected to some people she cares about in her life. And of course, because it's a cozy mystery, there is murder ensues, and then Willa is on the case to help save a friend from being the accused. So 5 stars. I loved it. That town and those people, I feel like I'm part of it. I enjoy it so much, and it's really just a wonderful read. So, like I said, 5 stars. The next book was Quilt on the Cover, and I chose A Patchwork of Clues by Sally Goldenbaum. This is a story of Portia, who is an older heroine. She and her quilt group get together and do some quilting, and she's on her way to the quilt shop, and she discovers an old friend who is a professor who has been murdered, and the investigation ensues. So with this book, I found that I didn't really care about the story until about 75% into the story. There's a lot of people in it, a lot of things going on that I don't know. I just was not feeling this one. I am not personally a quilter, but I love quilts, and I love any sort of craft type thing. So I wasn't understanding why I wasn't really digging this book a little bit more. So I gave it 2.5 stars. I don't know if I will continue with this series. Like I said, I just didn't find myself really caring too much about it. So that was Quilt on the Cover. 9 on the cover. I did a reach on this one. This did not have the actual number 9, but it had 9 Chinese lanterns on the front of it. I counted it. So this was Hot Pot Murder by Jennifer J. Chow. I gave it 5 stars. I love this little series. It's only has 2 in the book so far. I enjoyed it so much. So it's about Yale. Yale is her name is Yale. I can't remember her last name, and her cousin, and they are Chinese heritage, and they work in their family's restaurant. And Yale is very introverted, but she has just rediscovered her love of cooking and her father's restaurant. And her cousin and she are the best of friends, and they live together. And they're getting together to do this Thanksgiving get together with many of the Asian restaurants and businesses in the area, and they're doing a hot pot Thanksgiving. Well, they all get together, and they're all members of this group organization, and someone in the organization ends up dying, and Gail wants to clear her father, so she and her cousin investigate. I love the heart of this. This story has Zippo romance, which I love, and Yale is such an interesting character because she's dealing with some grief and loss of her mother, but she's kind of rediscovering. She's at that young age where she's still rediscovering herself. I really enjoy this series. I hope it continues. I love the LA night market. I love the LA background. I love her cousin, even though her cousin kind of thinks she's a Kardashian. Uh, just a cute book. Really enjoyed it. Like I said, 5 stars. The next book that I had was The First Responder, and I read Busted by Diane Kelly. Now, I am a huge Diane Kelly fan. I love the Mountain Lodge series. I love the House Flipper series. I had never read any in this series, and there's a few in this one as well. But this series is not what I would consider a cozy. I would say that this is contemporary women's fiction, humorous type. It's kind of like Sex in the City meets Texas Small Town, Motorcycle Cop, sort of situation. We have this motorcycle cop. Her name is Marnie. And Marnie is, she works in this very small town, very small community. And she's a single lady, and she is on the prowl. So, as I said, Sex in the City meets the small town cop. It's really well written. I laughed out loud a few times. I don't being the age that I am now, I don't think I enjoyed it as much as I would have enjoyed it when I was in my 30s. But it was a good read. I gave it 4 stars. I love Diane Kelly. I think she has a wonderful writing style, and some of the adventures that Marnie went on were quite humorous. The next I have is 9 Somewhere on the book, around the book. And I chose Paper Cuts by Ellery Adams because there was 9 letters in the title. Paper Cuts is part of the Secrets Book and Scone Society, which is my favorite Ellery Adams series. Man, Ellery Adams can write a book. Her cozies are unique and different. They're not your typical cozy, but I fell in love with everyone in the town. I fell in love with Miracle Springs. I fell in love with Nora. I fell in love with the people that are in the Secret Book and Scone Society. So we have our girl Nora, and Nora is a bookstore owner. She has some scars, both physically and mentally, and she is running this little bookshop. She has established herself in the community. She is in a good relationship, and she ends up meeting her ex-husband's ex-wife or wife. She doesn't really know who, but she finds out who it is. And this woman has cancer. And she is quite stunned because her ex-husband and all that's part of that scarring that she has, and she ran away from that, so it comes back to kind of haunt her, but it comes back in the most touching way. And of course there's a murder and there's an investigation, and she's trying to figure out all the things, but I don't think that this series is like this is not the series that makes me want to go cuddle my granny and bake bread and do all of that. It's not the typical cozy vibes, but it's still very cozy and comforting in the found family and the community that comes together. And in Nora, I feel like that Nora heals a little bit more in every single book. Also, her friends are just wonderful and delightful, and everybody in the group, her little book club group, all have some sort of secret and all have some sort of scar. So I just think it's a lovely book. Secret Book and Scone Society is usually one of the first books or book series that I suggest for people who are asking me, hey, what book should I read? So I think it's a great one. The next one I had was a British murder, some sort of murder or murder mystery that takes place in jolly old England. And I chose Quiche of Death by MC Beaton, part of the Agatha Raisin, first one in the Agatha Raisin series. And I stayed away from Agatha Raisin because I heard a lot of people say, oh, it's not cozy. And she is, she's not a very nice person. And let's be real, she is not a nice person. She is hateful. But for some reason, I kind of enjoyed it. I enjoyed this story. Agatha's retirement age, and they make her sound like she's really old, but I have a feeling she's probably about in my age range or maybe a little older. But she's leaving London. She's going off to the Cotswolds to get this cute little cottage and to just enjoy her retirement life. And she's really trying hard to kind of fit into the Cotswolds society. And so she finds out that they have this quiche baking contest and she decides to enter it, but she doesn't know how to bake. So she has somebody else. She goes and buys a quiche in London and brings it. Well, that quiche ends up killing a judge. So there's a murder mystery. I really enjoyed it. I gave this book 4 stars. The neighbor is a broom writer, whoo, with a capital B, as my friend Sarah would say. And between her and Agatha is sharp, and she's not real likable either. But she's curmudgeon-y, and I don't know. I have a thing for curmudgeon-y people, I guess. So Oscar the Grouch sort of thing. But yeah, I thought it was great. 4 stars. And my last book was my Janelle pick, and I unfortunately did not have the opportunity to meet Janelle, but I know there are a lot of people who participated in this, and a lot of people, booktubers, who have talked about what a wonderful person she was. And to honor her, they did a prompt that was a book that Janelle would enjoy. And from what I understood of her and knew of her, she kind of like gumshoe, old, like vintage mysteries. And so I read a Mike Hammer that was Mickey Spillane. Mike Hammer is the main character. It was the first one in the series called I, the Jury. I gave this book 2.5 stars. I will say, I did kind of enjoy it. It is about our character, Mike Hammer, who his best friend, former coworker, has been murdered, and he is bound and determined to get revenge and solve this. And so the way he attacks it and things, I think he's a little bit of a psychopath. He's definitely misogynistic. If you can get past the misogyny, the bigotry, some of the racism it's a pretty good story. The story was interesting. It was a short read. It's a sign of its times. I tried not to take that stuff very seriously. It is spicy. There is a lot of mentions of female parts in some dipsy doodle as some sex scenes and all of that, but the story was enjoyable. I gave it 2.5 stars. There were some phrases in there that kind of made me tick about women. Anyway, it is a product of its time. So that was 2.5 stars. As I said, I really had a fun time with this challenge. I don't do a whole lot of book challenges and prompts and things because I'm such a mood reader, and it's sometimes hard to fit what I'm in the mood for in those boxes. But because I love mysteries so much, I really did enjoy this. And I thank everyone who was involved, everyone who invited and encouraged. and would love to hear if you participated in this, what you read, and if you enjoyed it or not. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you finish this all the way to the end, leave a book emoji or the magnifying glass for mystery at the end of the video. And as always, I appreciate you so much. If you haven't liked or subscribed, please do. Please feel free to share my video with your friends if they like books as well, because I talk about books and book journaling and cozy things. Thank you so much. If someone hasn't told you today that you make this world a better place just by being here, you absolutely do. I appreciate you and thank you. Happy reading. Goodbye. Hey there, it's Editing Sonia. So yeah, I forgot a book. You ever have those days? I mean, you don't know whether to scratch your watch or wind your butt. So I'm having one of those. So the book that I forgot and the prompt that I forgot was Cat on the Cover. And my cat on the cover choice was The Dead as a Door Knocker by Diane Kelly. And our story is about Whitney, who it's #1 in the series. Whitney is she is a property manager, and she is also a carpenter, but she kind of does that to the side, on the side, and she lives in her family's guest house, and she's very kind of just up in the air of what she wants to be. So she has a call to do a kick out some rowdy teenagers out of this house that's being rented, and they destroy it, and the owner of the house decides to give her an offer she can't refuse, and she decides that she wants to buy this house and flip it with her cousin. Well, there's some snafus that happen, and including murder, and she and her cousin and their cat Sawdust solve the murder. I gave it 5 stars. I love Diane Kelly. I have read 2 and 3 in this series, and I've greatly enjoyed it. So thank you very much for being patient with me and allowing me to pop in here. Have a great day.